What up? King Mumbles. We're just waiting for GuttaMouf from Out the Gutta Entertainment. We see. We're gonna try to play some.
Yeah. You know what it is. Time to teach the kids. I mean biz. That's what it is. Cop shot Ricky, maybe because he went for his ID too quickly. Being black in the hood is risky. Obviously their training is shitty. Brown skin, they wanna frisk me. Resist arrest, now they wanna hit me. Beat walkers patrol the street. 7 out of 10 cases are racist. Prejudice is prevalent. Serve and protect the establishment. An embarrassment, quick to harass. Respond intelligent or they'll bust your ass. Be careful when driving. They shoot the unarmed, react calm, see cipher punk, they're coward. In many situations abuse their power. Shoot first, then lie later. Suspended with pay and gets to see another day. The Constitution has never been changed. Nationality you claim must be rearranged. Sovereign won't have that problem, but women, men who claim they're citizen, African American descendants of the Negro, is why they have jurisdiction over my people. No, don't say I understand, cause that subjugates you to the laws of the land. I knew a cop from the 103rd who hit the evidence room for a couple of birds. Extort my cohorts that sat on the curb. 70-30, the pig did us dirty, beyond thirsty and impatient. Edward burned him, they sent a replacement. Once a week he brought dope and coke. Colombians cut his throat. Rupert Sosa stashed coke in his sofa. Sip mimosas in his Prada and Gucci loafers.
All I wanted was to sell at 500 to attract with the Fuji since the first album Blooded. A hot boy, if you ever catch me stunting. A nigga with an attitude, 100 miles and running. And yes, Mr. Mumbles back and no, it ain't a mumble. Stack that style on the radio now. See, we done with that, no matter where I step. If he's 905 a rap, you're not in front, King's Court up under the left. Pickering, born and raised, you know it's me. Brandon Black, the prophet of the north, we do this beat. From bush like a young fix, we breathe some true MCs. Can't forget young Chop, yo, R.I.P. Still the king, not controlled by the ring any longer. The team got smaller, but the thing got stronger. All I wanted was to spit on the mic as we're moving to the
Hey, hello. You got a
Peace,
mouth.
peace,
Huh? Hey, what's up?
peace. What's the science?
Uh, what's up? Hey, man. All right,
How are you?
so I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just starting out my day, doing what I can.
No doubt.
So how you doing? You doing well?
Say that again.
How are you doing?
I'm okay at the moment. Just pardon if you hear any like background noise or whatever. Like my apartment building, like the walls are like really thin. Yeah.
No problem. No problem. All right, so this is a new episode of Holding Court with King Mumbles. Y'all know what we do. We do interviews with independent artists, entrepreneurs, basically battle rappers, basically my passions of our certain industries. And I like to give spotlight to those that are in those industry. So we got here GuttaMouf from Out the Gutta Entertainment, and we're just going to be doing a little interview. So, how I start my interviews is I let you introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you are and what you do, and all of that.
No doubt. At the moment, I'm going by the name of GuttaMouf. I didn't enter the industry. I've been doing like hip hop, affiliated with hip hop since 1978. Um,
Whoa.
Back then, I was going by the name of Victor C. Oh, I left that out. I was born and raised in South Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
And yeah, and basically, like my first taste of like getting like to hip hop music was from the parks and block parties and whatnot. And at first, I was a DJ, and then
Oh,
hearing various rap crews from the Bronx and Harlem, such as like the Treacherous Three, Cold Crush Four, Funky Four plus one more, Soul Sonic Force, Africa Bambaataa, Zulu Nation, that whole vibe. I was a
actually, yo, gotta
DJ.
hold on a second. I just gotta do a couple of shares.
Okay,
So I don't wanna. Let me just do a couple of shares of the link here.
no doubt.
Uh, all right, and
How long you been doing this?
all right.
Yeah.
You said
How long you
you
been
started
doing
as
this
a
on
DJ.
TikTok?
Yeah.
Huh?
Pardon?
I didn't hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So go back to what you were saying. You said you started in 1978 as a DJ.
Yeah. Like I was a DJ, like like back in the days, like had a couple of friends that, from off of my block and surrounding area, in my area of Jamaica. We got
Hmm.
together. A couple of cats had like, a turntable, maybe some records, and that's how, you know, my friend across the street, who he had basically like a big record collection. And the first time there was a DJ group called the Infinity Machine, and they used to
Okay.
jam at Ajax Park, bring out like massive equipment. And then that's how like we basically got like you know, caught like that whole hip hop vibe, like the jamming in the parks. But the focus with them at the time, they were playing disco. So like, you know, like
Yeah.
BT Express, Cool in the Gang, Sky, groups like that, Brass Construction, and they would mix these records continuously on two turntables with the mixer. And they had these big speakers and whatnot. And sometimes they had like people get on the mic and just, you know,
Yeah.
chant and response type of things that they would do. But it wasn't until like 78 and we started getting like these cassette tapes from the Bronx and Harlem. And one of the tapes had Kumo D and the Treacherous Three along with Spoonie G. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how basically when I heard Kumo D, like I was like, you know, and then it was like I said, it was a tape, and then you could hear the people, the crowd's reactions while they were rhyming or whatever. So that's what kind of like got me into, you know, as far as MCing. And at that
Okay.
point, I was like just got down with a lot of crews. I had like a crew called the Triple Threat MCs. Actually, we was a duo, but we had put somebody on to DJ with, and it was like me, Mr. D. Then later on, we had got a brother named LD who was nice on the turntables. Then we called ourselves the Triple Threat. And then from there, like I would just basically go to certain block parties, or as they call it back in the day, ciphers. You know, we get in the cipher, people would spit their little written rhymes, and then people would go off to the head. And I had built up a reputation of being a good MC. And one day, we had got a chance to jam and or get on the mic at Ajax Park with the Infinity Machine. And from there, like my, you know, popularity grew. And in 84, I ran into a brother named Livio G of the Sound Experience. And a good friend of mine from off of Inwood Street in Linden had told him about me. And then it just so happened the day that I was supposed to meet him, this cat came from, these cats, couple of cats that came from East New York, Brooklyn. They were looking to battle me. So, you know, I battled them or whatever. I won, of course. And Livio was like, yo, I want to put you on. You know what I'm saying? Put, you know, onto our group, Sound Experience. Then, like, from there, it's just like we just started doing like shows and at the Les Charlotte, the Jamaica Armory. I performed at Skate Key Skating Ring, and you know, started making like a little, you know, local type of noise. Wasn't really nothing, you know, too major. And then about 84, this was like 83, 84-ish, then 85, we had met a guy named P-Fon from NYU who happened to have a rap show called Rap This on 89.1 FM, you know, on New York, you know, New York. So I don't know where you're located, but if you're in New York, it's like a New York City thing. And back in the days, it was like one of the main like instrumental vehicles for music being heard on the radio. You know, it was NYU, New York University radio station, but you know, a lot of people had came through there, you know, giving us their records or whatever. And then in 87, Eric B. and Rakim had came up with a record called I Know You Got Soul. And upon hearing that, like one day it was like me, Livio, we was in his brother's limousine. His brother was driving limousines for Cold Chillin', like Bismarcky, it wasn't Big Daddy Kane yet, but it was Roxanne, Shan. And then one day he was off. He had took Kane and Bismarck, I think, to the rooftop or the Latin Quarter. So he was, he had to wait. So he came back to Queens, and we're sitting in the car listening to Red Alert. And I Know You Got Soul came on. And when I heard it, we just happened to, back then the beverage, the malt liquor with the drink was Old English 800. So I'm drinking and we listening to the song and we vibing out off of it. And back then I used to always hear songs and make fun of them with mock lyrics. So I basically did that. And Livio was like, yo, that sounds great. Yo, come over tomorrow and let's record it. So what I did is I took I Know You Got Soul and turned it into I Drink Old Gold. And we had no idea, like, back then, I don't know how old you are, but in 87, it wasn't too many, like how like you have like the rap genres like filled with so many people. It wasn't that many artists that was, out there. So more or less we put the song out and like it was a hit. Like Red Alert started playing it. Mr. Magic, Marley Marl was playing it. Chuck Chill Out started playing it and things of that nature. So on the underground, it blew up. We didn't have no commercial success from it because due to the theme, and at that time, it wasn't like the way it is now, but
but in the 80s, there wasn't really a lot of commercial success available for rap. Like you you got on the big radio station, like Red Alert thing, that was the goal, like MTV wasn't messing with hip hop a lot them times and stuff. So like I wouldn't downplay what you did. Like getting on that, like that was the like I remember listening to KRS-One interviews, and that's what his goal was at a time, getting on those same radio stations and stuff like that. Like so
because that was like, especially like it was like the only, like you would to the point where is like these DJs had time slots that were on the weekends, and either late night after 12, 1 in the morning, or on Saturdays like 8 p.m. to like 12. And that was it. Other than that, you would only hear hip hop in the clubs or in the streets, But yeah, like, and like going from there, that was like, a little taste of it, like 80, 87 to like 89, 90, like, it was just like a period of, that's when like hip hop was really getting in the stages and taking off. And then corporations seeing the commercial success of it, what I'm saying, and getting money and whatnot, it kind of like blew it into a whole new stratosphere, like, and since then, like I just like after that, like, that the success of that record, the underground success, trying to reproduce it, what I'm saying, was the thing. Like at the time, we, like me and the person that I was on, Livio, we weren't really like well abreast into the music industry and the formats of following up something of a song of that caliber and following up and making the same people that enjoyed that record enjoy what we came out. Like I kind of was like on a personal thing. That really wasn't my bag to say. It was like, more or less I was like, at that time, I was trying to do conscious rap, conscious minded rap. And it just so happened that, the humor, that's what kind of like, broke for me then. And then trying to duplicate it, it was like a task, kind of like took the fun when I look back at it, because I made the old Go record out of fun. And like being that was my first record and my first success, like, we tried to follow a pattern or what, was going on according to those times, but it was like different, and from there, like after 87, then it was just like the process was just like crazy, like dealing with the innards of the industry and how people were moving. Like a lot of people were cutthroatish. I had plenty deals offered to me, but behind the scenes, other people, you know what I'm saying, they were like, stab you in the back. They were like, I don't know this guy. And now, yo, instead of him, put this, put my crew on, and a lot of
Yeah.
that. So like after like 93 for me, I went into a position to like, I wanted to be like more behind the scenes. So I got into promotion, college radio promotion, club promotion, distribution, like learning the basis of the background. And it's just like one of those things, like with hip hop with me, it's just I love to do it. Like, even to
Yeah.
this day, like I'm 58 years young at the moment, and I'm getting ready to release a new song on Monday. That's just like how it just stuck with me. Some people like that I came up with, they gave it up, from
Yeah.
really being into it as I was, but you know, it is hip hop like really like music in general. I love all forms of music, but hip hop just really like clung into me. Like I basically like passed up a lot of other situations just to pursue music.
So because I'll be honest, you're the first person that I've interviewed that have been involved in music longer than me. Because I'm 45,
Mm-hmm.
so I got into it really young because my older brother
Right.
was into hip. So like I literally fell in love with hip hop because he used to have like Houdini records. Like I totally remember because I still have some of them like Houdini,
Mm-hmm.
Gibson Lover. So I fell in love with listening to his records. I started rapping like late '80s.
Mm-hmm.
Took it start like seriously in the '90s and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, so how how do you find and how do you get through the evolution of rap through the time? Because I feel one of the problems of how people aged out of rap was because I'm even finding it now is what you look at as rap in 1985. By the time 1995 came along, it wasn't the same.
Yes,
You
I
know,
agree.
2000. So how do you travel through that? Because like maybe LL Busta is the only person that like it's one of the people that I give ultimate respect of. He started like 88, 89, and he's
Mm-hmm.
been able to be at the top still. How do you travel through evolving through the time?
Well, you see, the whole thing is like what I did. Like I was always connected to it. Like I knew where, especially I'm not sure where you from. Where are you located at? Or where
I'm from
would you
Toronto, Canada. Toronto.
Oh, okay. See, yeah. Well, up there, like I guess
Yeah,
you would have to like probably like dig, like really dig deep into sources. But for me, what it
yeah,
was, I was always kept in contact with the younger generation and the younger crowds while like movement in it. And there's certain vehicles like underground like radio stations, like people,
hmm
and now that with the internet coming in, like people are able to broadcast and do their own little broadcasters. So I kind of like whatever, like those little vehicles aside from the radio, like listening to what goes on with the radio. And when the
hmm
internet came about, well, let's just I'll take it from like the '90s, like the clubs is where I
yeah,
had kept my pace, like and they would have showcases, occasional, like I was in the new music seminar, battle for world supremacy in '87 and '88. Like little functions like that, like out of that sprung like little people having like in their hometowns, or what I'm saying, where they're from in New York. And
yeah,
we would go to these places, these showcases, and see what's going on. Some stuff trickles from the radio, but mainly it was like basically just keeping you're keeping, your ear and your eyes on what's going on in the street. So it was just like and like I said, like I would, like people say, oh, like you hear people say, yo, hip hop's dead. Nah, it never died. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's just that it went into certain crevices, for a lack of a better word. It went into certain places, and some people weren't willing to go those steps. Now with
yeah.
the internet, you know what I'm saying? You can access it, you just have to look for it or know where to look. Like one of the sources I use from, like, in the middle of the 90s, there was a magazine, or there's a magazine that currently is just called Insomniac
Uh-huh.
magazine, and they've been holding it down for like underground hip hop, like in the States, since like, let's say 96, 97. And then from
Mhm.
there, from me following them, I always kept abreast of the latest artists, like, to the point as whereas, like, that's how I always was able to change my style, because my style has, from 87, as far as MCing, changed a lot. you know um it used to be like more simple rhymes, but then with the event when Rakim came on the scene, that kind of, like, certain artists, that's another way how I kept, like, in time, is what with the artists that were coming out, like Rakim's, of course, like, basically I came up with, before they were Wu-Tang, like Old Dirty Bastard and the Genius. I used to do shows with
Mhm.
them before they were Wu-Tang. So,
Yeah,
and like going to, like, what it was is those shows and those parties, those showcases was very important. People don't, kind of like realize it. But those venues and those vehicles are very important. That's why it's important to try to keep those things going. I feel as though it's important because if you, especially, I don't know how you feel about the music that's out today, but it's really changed a lot,
yeah.
and like what I do, like I say, it's more basically from that 80s, early 80s background, like, into, and then like into the like 90s, like early 90s, like the trap music, and some of it I like or whatever, but personally that's never been my cup of tea. And
Mine either, like I don't go like and it's a different of a lifestyle. Like I understand what it is, but I'm at an
Mhm.
age where I don't go to clubs like often anymore. Like I that's not my weekend time of going to clubs.
Right.
So music that's made just to bang in the club and just to whatever, it's not going to appeal to me anymore. Like when I did go to clubs, like I remember liking Little John's stuff and some of that stuff because
Hmm.
I was in the club and that stuff got the club going.
Oh
But
yeah.
like now, I, I'm not looking for that appeal. So a lot of the new stuff and doesn't appeal to me. And um, I've never even from Toronto. I'm not from like what would be considered a hood neighborhood. So a lot of the overly gangster drill music
Uh-huh.
doesn't appeal to me. Like I'm somebody that like I care about the craft of it. Like if I don't feel that you're respecting the craft of rhyming,
Uh-huh.
I can't really get behind what you're doing. Like I don't care how real you are or
Right.
who's that's not my appeal. Like I'm like I laugh, I tell people like I'm a very much stereotype
Hmm.
backpack MC. Like I still walk around with a backpack a lot of times and people will laugh and they'll be like, why do you always have a bag on you? And I literally will usually have um a a, a notepad in my bag that I can pull out and write rhymes in and stuff like that. And
Oh, okay.
I'm like, that's the thing. Like, like, I'm proud to say, like, I don't want to be one of those old guys that shit on the young music
Right.
and stuff like that. But I will say, I know I'm not the target market for that music.
Mm,
It wasn't written for me. It wasn't thing for me. And so I look for, like, stuff that is made, like J. Cole.
mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
I think, like, like, yeah, because I can see him being in his house. I can picture him being in his house and just sitting there and thinking and writing, and that's what I relate to. But
Right.
um, so you have out the gutter entertainment.
Yes.
Is that just you on the label, or what are the services that you provide other than being an artist?
Um, well, mainly, it's just like I produce. I have produced for like over maybe like 20, 25, 30 different like underground artists within the last, let's just say from 2012 up until now. Like, yeah, I've just, and it was just like for the sake of hip hop. I wasn't really looking to like make money, per se. It was just like
Yeah.
basically like artist type of thing. Like if I heard somebody, um, one of the artists I've been rocking with was from Philly. Her name was Nella D. And I met her on
Okay.
MySpace. And she was doing boom bap hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And I liked her style. I reached out to her. Was like, if you're interested, I have a couple of tracks. And I threw them to her. And then from there, like she kind of like put me onto a little pocket of female MCs that were located in Philadelphia from like
Nice.
2009 to like about 2015. Like I was like, producing for a lot of her fellow female MCs. So and then from there, it just turned into like, like a lot of other people from what I was doing, the tracks I was making, they were reaching out to her and some of her affiliates and wanted to know about me. And then like, MySpace basically connected everyone from
Yeah.
different parts. And from there, like I said, it just like a lot of people like, but I basically I'm a producer, hip hop producer.
Okay.
And I was working last couple like 2 years ago, I was working with another female MC. Her name was Franny Lou. And I'm also working with a longtime friend of mine, way from like 40 years ago. His name is Essential. And
Mm.
actually we got two EPs getting ready to come out shortly. We're just taking care of some financial things that, in the background so we could put it out there the proper way, as far as like through the streaming sites and, we actually changing distributors at the moment because we were dealing with DistroKid, but
Yeah.
DistroKid did something kind of flaky. And
Okay.
yeah, because it's kind of like, you want to get your, you want to be heard by as many people as possible. And there's certain
Yeah.
vehicles, like these distribution companies, there's several of them. But you gotta like kind of like have like all those other ducks in a row too, promoting it, through your social media sites. And then like I said, sometimes like these people, they're like they offer you these services, but a lot of times their services aren't, legit, and
Yeah.
a lot of things is going through Spotify at this moment. So it's like your streaming and your success is really based on the content you promote on your social media. Like it's not even about these days, from what I'm noticing, it's not even about your skill level, it's about how popular you are. And that comes about from the intent or the content that you put upon social media.
I was gonna ask you about that because I ask artists that have been doing it, like if any artist that I interview that's been around like at least by early 2090s or whatever, I
Mm-hmm.
ask them about that is like, how do you feel about, because one artist said, you're not a music, the quote said, don't look at yourself as a music artist, look at yourself as a content creator
Mm-hmm.
that makes music. Because the and I've seen like the few like independent artists and stuff that I've seen and I've followed actually blow up. It's always been blown up through their content,
Mm-hmm.
you know, collecting. So how do you feel about that? Do you think it's a positive? Do you think it's a negative?
Well, it's like this. I think more or less. I mean, it's kind of from where I came from. It's like totally like different because we used to have to get popular, like taking it back to like the late 80s. I mean, or the early, let's just say the early 80s. Like the thing was to go to as many parties, block party
Mm,
clubs, and get popular like that. But now with this me streaming, like yeah, like you know, you get on, like there was a guy who amazed me like back in like 2017. His name was Fish, Ice JJ Fish. And
okay.
he blew up, like you said, like with his content. And his content, like his, I don't know whether he was doing it on purpose, but he's, to me, I hate to say it, he sounded horrible. Like he was trying to sing, but he was singing off key. But this
Yeah.
guy was literally getting like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of streams. And that's when I knew, I said, damn. So it's like the game hasn't changed. Like your talent is almost like you don't even have to be talent. It's just catching people's attention and keeping it
Yeah.
focused on something for over, because you know, it's funny because I was on a seminar last week, like a Zoom seminar guy, and the guy was trying to tell people how, like he was like, if you're, when you put out content on social media, he said you got 3 seconds to
Mm,
capture somebody's attention or they're going to go on and move on. And there's so much stuff running through a lot of social media, like yeah, like you know, if you can't, he was like, you have to try to come up with something that's going to captivate people within 3 seconds. And when you
yeah.
think about it, that's kind of hard, because that means like right off
Mm,
the bat, as soon as they see, like you got to have some attractive cover or something that's going to make
yeah.
people and then from that 3 seconds you got to like have something that's going to really just keep them engaged, because like a lot of people's these days attention spans, because I see it
Yeah.
when I post my stuff, I look at my insights and I'm like,
Yeah.
I got so and so people that stayed on for 55 seconds, but then for the most part, it was always in between 3 and 15 seconds, like, you know, and then like they wouldn't give it past 15 seconds. And I said, damn, the game's unchanged, because it's like, you know, now if I was in front of you with a mic and I started spitting some freestyle or whatever, you know, then you're like either or, like, yo, either take it for whatever I'm saying, like it'll either catch you or not, you know what I'm saying? But you like kind of like have no choice. But nowadays on social media, people will scroll quicker than them up, you know, and just pass through and just, you know, so it's like trying to figure out that part of it now. And it's funny because back in the days, I used to be like, yo, what we gonna do, you know, say, or what we gonna to catch people's attention. But now, like with social media and how content is made, you got 3 seconds. And like, you know, when he
Mm,
said that, it kind of like thunderbolted, like a lightning moment, like hit me. And I was like, ah. So now when I start making my little promotions, I gotta put something that's gonna
yeah.
have people want to
Right
look.
at, right at the beginning, they because I've done a lot of master classes studying it. Like basically, other than kid stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the the most popular stuff on internet is tutorial. Like
Mm,
how, so if you can think of a question that your audience would have, and you ask that question like, how do you get 10,000? That's why you see those people. This is how you get 10,000 views, and then they explain it and thing like
right,
that. And instead of introducing yourself, because they don't care what your name is, you gotta like right away go right into the meat of it and
right.
stuff. Catch them and make them. The other thing about with the short attention span that you would probably notice, you're from my generation, is like, especially even from the 80s, is the difference in the length of songs.
Yes,
Like 'cause in the 80s, some of them songs were like 5, 6, 7, minutes. The
yep,
90s, because that's when it was radio, you really had to have your song about 3 minutes, at the most 3:30.
right,
Now these people, they have songs of like a minute, 2 minutes. It's a verse, chorus, and you're done. Like
right.
it
Yeah.
is, yeah.
It's funny
So
that you.
few more,
It's
yeah,
funny.
few more questions here.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Um, Seeing how you've been through all of the generations, who is your top five?
My top five, I would have to say, without thinking too hard about it, because it's always in my mind. I
Mm,
got to go with Cool Mo D,
okay.
Rakim. I would have to throw Pun in there, Redman,
Mm.
MF Doom, and that's just like, did
Okay.
I say Biggie?
No, you didn't.
Oh, and throw Biggie in there, and from there, like I would have to go to like Nas and like there's a few,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But it's just like my personal, like, like those are the ones that move me. But there's tons of MCs though, but
yeah.
off the
I know
top,
it's hard. That's why I love asking it. Okay, so because yeah, we're almost done. So, what projects or whatever would you like to let everybody else know, and where would they be able to find you?
um, well, right now, like as far as like finding me, well, let me talk about the projects first. Currently, like I said, we're in the process of putting out two EPs for an artist named Essential. He's on Spotify. He's also on Instagram under Essential 40p at
Okay.
Instagram. And we have two EPs we're looking to put out within the next month or so. I have to touch base with him after I get off the phone with you and see where we're going with that. But far as me personally, I am now known as GuttaMouf. I have been known as GuttaMouf since '89. Um, and I've been affiliated, just to go through quickly. Like, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Self-Titled. I did a
Yeah.
couple of songs with him. He actually got me back into the game in 2000. I did a song with him called Real Villains, and that made it, like, it brought me back out in 2000. And that from there, like, I've been GuttaMouf, but I'm getting ready to personally release. It'll be coming out on all streaming platforms on the 15th, which is Monday. The name of the song is He's Back, and the name of the artist is Old Man Galactus. And I can be
Okay.
found on Instagram under GuttaMouth G65, as well as I am on YouTube under Out the Gutter Entertainment. And GuttaMouth is on Victor Bernard Fenton on Facebook, but I have a separate page for Mr. X GuttaMouth. And what I plan to be doing is releasing two songs every month from here on, and under
Nah.
various artists. Like, one artist is going to be Old Man Galactus, one as GuttaMouth, and another personality I like to call Sedgwick Douglas. And the
Mm,
Cedric Douglas, I'll probably be releasing a song from him in 2 weeks because like
okay.
I kind of like changed up, like before, like I was used to, like back in the days, like I was used to releasing a couple of songs like every so often. But now how content is coming, how other
Yeah.
artists of this time is doing it, they're releasing a lot of songs, and
Material. Yeah.
it keeps the name fresh. So I had, I'm kind of like forced to go at that pace. So actually, a friend of mine, Mike Nappy, me and him have been talking, and he kind of like persuaded me to like try to at least put out 2 songs a month. So I stayed fresh, and then when it's time to make an album or whatever, people be like, "Oh, you know what? He's been putting out 2 songs a month." Like, so people be more apt to see like what else is coming from me instead of like
Yeah.
the long
Just to
period.
let you know, can we have a time a little bit? So it might shut off, but I want you to give off all
Okay.
this information. Okay, so keep going. Just
Okay.
to let you know. Okay,
All right.
go on.
Yeah, but so that's the reason why, like, I was just basically going, but that's basically what's going on for me. And if anybody or you yourself or needs tracks or whatever, I have hundreds of them, and I'll be willing to collaborate or whatever.
Mm,
Just reach out to me, here on TikTok or
yeah,
But
I will personally definitely be reaching out because like I was doing music. I stopped when I was about because I'm 45 now. When I was about 30,
uh-huh.
because I had my kids. I had twin boys, and like I told
Congratulations.
people, I
Hmm.
couldn't put money and effort into music because I had to do the family. Like somebody wanted me to go on tour, and I'm like, I can't. My kids are like 2 months old. I can't
Oh,
go
yeah.
anywhere for 3 months. Like I didn't want to be that type of a you know.
Hmm.
So my kids are now like 15. They're gonna be 16 this year. So they don't need me every day and everything like that. So I was like, you know what? I wanted to go back into the music, because you can do home studio, and
Hmm.
for me, it's not really trying to be a career. Like I don't know what it's gonna be. It's just I have the passion for the art form,
Right.
so I just want to create,
And you know
and
what? I'm gonna tell you, do that because that's what the world needs. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
More people just to step out. Yo, you do it for the love of it. You have a passion for it. Why not? You
yeah,
never know. You could change the game.
exactly. Like, hey, if something happened and a track blow up and someone want to pay me a lot of money, I'm not gonna turn it down. But
Exactly.
yeah, like I'm not trying to do the career. I'm like I've like I love to make music. So I told myself I'm like I know some people are gonna say you're too old to do it, but I'm like I love doing it. It's a therapy for me. Why not
Mm.
just do it?
Keyword therapy, because that's what it is to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Amen.
yo, thank you very much for the interview. Like I like it because, as I said, like you're the first person that I've ever interviewed
Uh-huh.
that has been in the game longer than me and stuff like that, and still into it and still having the love for it and stuff like that. I really like that.
Yeah. I appreciate you asking me to do the interview. Because
Yeah,
I mean, it's a way to still like voice my opinions and and express my desire and passion for hip hop. I appreciate you.
definitely. And one of the other things I do, I've only did like 2 episodes, but I'm going to be doing it more often. I call them listening sessions where I do music reviews or whatever.
Uh huh.
So when you drop your material, make sure you hit me up and send it to me and whatever, and I'll definitely give it the support and listen. And it's me and the next dude, and actually I open it up for other people to come on the panel, but
Uh
it's
huh.
me, and the next dude that hosted, and basically we just play the track or whatever, and then we give a review of what we think about it. Like we don't like we never try to trash nobody,
Right.
like because we're not like that. Like everything that we say, it's truly constructive criticism. It's everything is all in love, to do the
Hmm.
best for the music and whatever. So it's not like we're not gonna try to like shame anybody or tell
Right.
anybody to quit. That's not our goal. It's just to listen
Yeah.
to the music and just give our critiques and our reviews on it. So send me your stuff that you did your stuff with the your partner. We'll definitely play it and give it some support, man.
Okay. I'm gonna do that.
All right. All right. Thank you very much there. I'll have all of your links and whatever in the
Okay.
description on the YouTube or whatever, and I'll send you the YouTube link and you can send it out to people.
Okay.
And I'll probably also have certain clips of it
I'm
onto
down.
the TikTok or whatever.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. Thank you very much for coming through. This
No
was another
problem.
episode of Holding Court with King Mumbles. Thank you, man. Got him off.
All right. Appreciate you, brother.
Peace.
Peace.
Right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming through. We do appreciate the support. We do appreciate the love. I might have one more interview this weekend, and we'll have a few more this week.